Hello, lovely people. I'm so glad that you're joining me today. And first and foremost, happy International Women's Day to the most stunning, beautiful, intellectual, leading, life strong with a purpose to all the women in the world. And warm welcome to the Stars of Learning show. And I'm your host, Jyoti Ji. And you know that each fortnight I interview the thought leaders in the learning industry who will share their best practices, challenges, solutions, latest trends, and their journey, which will fast track you to engage, enlighten, and empower. So, friends, this International Women's Day, that's on 8th March, the world is coming together under the theme Gender Equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. And this definitely calls an action for women by women. And the campaign theme is also Break the Bias. Whether deliberate or unconscious bias makes it difficult for women to move ahead, right? And knowing that bias exists is not enough. Imagining a gender equal world is very important. So, a world free of bias, stereotypes, and discrimination, a world that is diverse, equitable, and inclusive, and a world where difference is valued and celebrated. So together we can forge women's equality. So collectively, friends, we can all hashtag break the bias. So I want all my listeners to be part of this movement, as not all women have their journey easy. And this Women's Day, I want you to focus your shift on capability of women and not limiting her belief to move ahead. So to break the bias, I have lined up an interesting topic today, and that's women on wheels, driving towards a new destination. Needless to say, friends, that I have invited the author, entrepreneur, Vandana Suri on this podcast, who is a woman of steel, an absolute go-getter who won't take no for an answer. What needs to be done needs to be done. Okay, and who strongly believes change begins with self, who is also an ex-investment banker turned proud Cabbie by choice, and her love to empower women and feel safer while on wheels are some great contribution by her friends. By the way, she has set a new paradigm for women to get on wheels confidently to optimize their full potential for their growth and success. Yes, Vandana Suri is a founder of Taxshe, and it is a World Bank award-winning organization focusing on women and child safety with a practical solution of women driving women and kids. So I was so longing, friends, to bring Vandana on my show, as I happened to meet Vandana in one of the event in 2018, exclusively organized for women leaders called Destination Boardroom. And I literally had goosebumps, hearing to the women's, stories and how she has impacted them in their journey. So confident and so proud being coached by Vandana Suri. And she's made that capable Cabbie drivers. So it was so inspiring for the many women also in the room. And she is an iconic leader who brought this new wave, being a Cabbie herself. So friends, her honors and awards are a huge inner kitty, to start with Women Startup Entrepreneur of the Year Award and a certificate award for safety of women and kids. And she's been a guest speaker and eminent speaker for many mega events. And she believes more women on the roads are safer for our ecosystem. And her vision is to eradicate hashtag #MeToo for the next generation. So friends, wear your gears on to support this drive and join me to welcome my guest, Vandana Suri. Vandana, once again, a warm welcome to Stars of Learning podcast.
Wow, thanks so much for the lovely introduction. I'm already flying. You like put me on a pedestal there. I'm into whatever cloud nine. Awesome. Thank you for all the respect.
Sure, Vandana, it's really a awesome to have you on my show, and glad that you're joining me on this special event on making Women's Day a special moment. So, Vandana, today's topic is on women on wheels, and you can see a lot of cars also behind me.
Yeah.
So, driving towards that new destination is something close to my heart also as a woman, and I myself love to be on wheels. And I thought my listeners would definitely benefit listening to your inspiring journey. So, to begin, Vandana, our topic for today is Women on Wheels. And I see your career from a successful corporate to an entrepreneurship. How you got into from a finance background, working in a multinational bank with a full-fledged professional life into an entrepreneurship journey. So, if you can give us some insight.
Yeah, so I had a very cushy investment banking job, and one fine day something triggered me. There was a rape in an Uber in Delhi, and that somewhere triggered me. The headline came the next day that if there was a woman driving me, this would not have happened. And that was it. I just had to leave everything and do this. So somewhere, no matter where we are, I think life's calling comes and wakes you up. That's high time. I think as a child, I was always one of those extremely bold little kids who will not mince my words, and who won't be scared of the consequences if I spoke a certain way. And I think I was all that naughtiness and boldness, inside one soda bottle. And somewhere this trigger kind of opened the soda bottle, and I said, "Ab to main kar lungi." Like this was like actually channelizing all that fire inside into a good cause. I think it had to happen.
Interesting. Vandana, every year March 8th we celebrate International Women's Day, and there are a lot of activities, right, to bring women up in the society. And this year theme is break the bias. However, women still have that limiting belief, and you coach many women, right? Could be their mindset or culture might be stopping them to scale. What was it for you?
I don't think women have a limiting mindset. I think women have limiting families who hold them back. I think that is the biggest holdback where we women live for somebody else all the time. We are raised to live for somebody else. And no matter how much I want to fly, I have to think of how many people get impacted if I fly. And the limitation is not within her. The limitation is the family support. When even I took a decision to be a cabbie, and I happily came home and told my mom that when I'm going to be a cabbie, she just fell off asleep. She said, "Tu kar kya rahi hai? What in the world are you up to?" But soon enough, and she knew I would do it if I've gotten into it. मैं जिद्दी हूँ, मैं कर ही लूँगी. She didn't have a choice but to bite in. But when my brother joined the business a few months later, then she was like, "Oh, the patriarchy came in, and yes, there's a man also who believes in this." So that was a comfort level. This is the reality in my own house, and it's a reality in every other place. So I think the limitation is with the family holding her back for responsibilities.
This is really a powerful message for women to break that myth and take that support required from the family. So interesting thing is, I'm very curious to know why Taxshe, and how does this help women in the world, Vandana?
So honestly, as a woman, I think we are all part of the hashtag #MeToo, whether we wrote it on Facebook and social media or not. I think we've all faced abuse. I haven't met a single one till date who's not faced abuse, whether small, big, whatever, where we've been touched wrong. And I think somewhere that was burning inside me all these years. Plus, I didn't want to give this kind of a world to my next generation. I think somebody has to change this. And that's when that Uber rape happened. This was after the Nirbhaya. So anyways, we were all so flustered about the Nirbhaya thing. And then, this headline, she said that if there was a woman driving me, this would not have happened. And
Mm.
she was talking sense.
True.
Actual reality was,
Yeah.
and I said, ये तो मुझे करना है. And, so somewhere, I must give you statistics. These are statistics by Ola, okay, so it's not me. It's technically another cab company out there who's done this survey. 91% of women in our country feel unsafe in public transport. 91%.
Including me.
Yes, I don't think it's 91. I think it's 100. But let's keep to a little averaging of numbers and feel good about it. So 91 is the published data. On the other hand, I did a lot of googling around child sexual abuse. 53% of our children face sexual abuse in their childhood. I have faced sexual abuse as a child myself, so I'm here and I'm telling you I have faced it. Now, that's 53% is literally my child or the neighbor's child. It's as close to that. And so I was doing a lot of research on child sexual abuse as well. A child who's faced sexual abuse, say, around the age of 4 or 5, faces repeated abuse in their lifetime, in their early teens, going on to their late teens, and this kind of feeling, that unsafe, insecure feeling that we have, it continues in our relationships in the future. It continues with our lovers, our spouses. It continues with the way we are able to give confidence to our own children. So this is child sexual abuse is an epidemic which goes on throughout the life of a person. Do you know that the majority of rapists that we see today are actually victims of child sexual abuse? Now, child sexual abuse happens in two ways. Ghar mein jo hota hai, I can't do anything about it. I mean, that's not my forte. But the other place where a child faces abuse is when they are out of sight of the parent. That's why today even schools have a compulsory CCTV and all in the school. But what happens to this transport part? What happens in buses? What happens when they go for tuitions, where they, when they're onto anything of public transport? So that's where Taxshe comes in. That let me give safe mobility solutions to women and children, and let me nip this thing in the bud itself at a very, very early age. That's why it's so close to my heart. It's my own experience, which is a negative experience, which is getting into a positive routing right now for a larger good.
Right. In fact, when my daughter had born, I was thinking of taking a complete career break. But then, unless I found a complete safer zone in all aspects, I did not take that move at all. Yeah, I can connect. And when she started going to school, I wanted somebody who is really genuine, authentic, who can drop and bring her back also. Yeah, but then, that calling that driver, ensuring, all that happens, the conversation continues, because, we should be safe, but we don't know how safe that zone is.
Yeah. You don't know when it changes, You may be trusting somebody, but the trusted ones are the ones who do abuse the most. I mean, that's the reality.
True. And in that context, Vandana, I'm sure Taxshe would not have been an easy journey for you when you started, right? And that too, calling women drivers. You would have also faced a lot of odds. What was your aspiration, breaking all that obstacles to do whatever you're doing now?
Of course, obstacles के बगैर तो कुछ होता ही नहीं है life में, I would say. The biggest obstacle was finding women drivers. Middle class women who knew how to drive, they didn't want to be a taxi driver. So it was, I couldn't be seen in a yellow board car, status. And the marginalized communities women, they were doing maids, cooks work, and they had never literally sat in a car. They had never dreamt of a car. They don't have the money to buy one either, right?
Right,
So
right.
there was a huge gap, and that's why I became the first taxi driver. I realized that I had to lead by example here. I had to be the hero for the marginalized women. Oh my God, ये madam कर रही है, मैं भी कर लूँगी. You know that that thing had to come, and I literally started walking down the busties. I don't know the local language also. So I literally started walking down the busties in the Garib busties, uh, talking to vegetable vendors. Listen, I have something here. I didn't know how to talk to them in Kannada because I didn't know Kannada and they didn't know English. So I caught little children on the way, small little children jumping around and all. I used to tell them, listen, I knew the kids know English because, no matter how poor the parents are always sending their children to English school. So I would talk to the children, 6-year-old, 7-year-old kids prancing around in the basti and tell them, listen, I'll talk to you in English. Why don't you go and tell this auntie in Kannada? And I found kids as translators for me. So I believe where there is a will, there is a way. You just have to try and look at it,
True, true. Yeah. Inspiring one. I think you prioritized and you had that clarity, what you want and need.
Yes.
And and if you just leaped into it, to chase your dream. So there's no look back
Until
there.
you don't get into the water, you can't swim. You have to. You cannot put your toe in and figure, oh, I'll be able to swim. You have to get in. That's the only way out.
Yeah. So, Vandana, you are one of the hero for many women entrepreneurs, and your story is being covered at the national and international level, right? So, what's your definition for the women who is aspiring to be an entrepreneur? What would be your message to the women in the world?
I think women need to believe in themselves. We are always looking for ratification by somebody else. And that needs to stop. When I go out and say that I'm going to run this business, I didn't look for ratification. I didn't wait for it. I went ahead and I jumped ahead and I knew that I would do it. So why is it that all the time we are looking for ratification from XYZ, whoever it is, it may be close family members, then you go out with that body language, with that confidence in you that I know what I'm doing. Then people stop judging you.
True.
It's like pushback. I know what I'm doing and I'm going to do it. So somebody who wants to be entrepreneurial, just go out and declare it and do it. People will, as it is, back off.
True. Agree. Not many take that plunge into this entrepreneurship journey.
Yeah. And I know it's relationships. I know that all the time we are on that measuring scale. I know the pressures that come in. But trust me, the day your family knows that you've made this decision, they will back off. They will support you. Everybody supports a confident person.
Yeah. Get that clarity and believing in what they're planning to do, right? Yeah. So Vandana, you're breaking that stereotype too in your work, right? You want women around the world to know that it is possible to drive, and you also boldly have shown that to the world. And I've also seen many friends who prefer sitting in the back seat than sitting on the driver's seat. The belief or the society would have pushed that thoughts into them. Women can't drive, they are not the best, they can't park, they're not good enough drivers. So that's what we keep hearing from the people around. So what are your nuggets you want to share to women who are still thinking to go on the wheels?
Okay, ladies, you really need to know this, okay? You please go on to Google. Google बाप पे छोड़ो, ठीक है? Don't listen to me. Just go and you will not believe, but in every country in the world, if you look at the statistics, men have more and worse accidents than women to the extent of 75 to 80% more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Women take slower time to learn, okay, but women are perfectionists, please understand that. She will
Hmm.
go to the she learns slowly, but it's okay, slow and steady wins the race. She's all the time careful, she's all the time bothered about on the road that she should not hit somebody. You will never, you will rarely find an overspeeding woman, okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
And who is the one who's telling you that you're not a good driver? Men. They are bad. They are bad themselves as per the data, and to show that they are better, they'll pull you down.
Hmm.
Then if they're pulling you down, then they're here. But lousy, they're lousy. You're here.
Yeah.
They can't compete with you. So the best way to do it is, I can't compete and win, so let me push her down. This is the reality. Okay? You just take it out from here and take it out from there. Do not listen.
Hmm.
Rubbish. And this is not me. This is data.
Yeah.
So go and put it on, in anybody's face. Go put it and stick it on your wall.
Inspiring one. Good one, Vandana. So then, how do you inspire and support women in the community to join Taxshe?
So
Because
very, you
that's
must
what we keep hearing, right? Women are not good
yeah.
in driving. And
No. So my business started developing slowly, slowly, slowly. It was like onion skin, peeling one after the other. So we started off with women drivers who were driving children to school and tuitions. So we trained these Garib girls in 4 to 6 months of driving, bundled them up with a lot of confidence building skills, self defense, English speaking,
mm,
grooming, sexuality health, uh, first aid, legal laws, financial independence. Now, all of these, we started making them heroes in their own
mm,
baskets.
mm,
Okay. When these women actually started driving, the pride that she goes and takes her cab to her house,
mm,
the whole basti looks at her. She's the next leader. The women are like, wow, she's
mm.
driving a cab. She's earning a handsome income. She's driving kids and she's all the time talking that she learned some English in the car and came. And keke keke baba black sheep and all is going on. That was so interesting to the other women. So that was the first level of leadership that we created.
Okay.
Okay. So one woman inspires more to come into the system. The
Mm,
second thing we did was we started training women how to drive customers. So
mm,
during the pandemic, my business got hit like nobody's business. I was literally 7 years back at ground zero and
mm,
a 70 lakh debt on me as a very middle class person. It was a very high amount of loan that was on me. I was crumbled. I was crushed. Taxi
mm,
business was not running anymore. No schools, no airports, no offices. What do I do? I had to let go of my entire team
mm,
and I came down to zero. Only this time I had a lot of loans on my head and, I was due for all that. But interestingly, during the pandemic, women started becoming very conscious that they needed to self-drive,
mm,
especially in the second wave, okay,
mm,
where, we saw there were no ambulances available on time, no oxygen. Now, women are, they're the ones who rush into responsibility. So we started getting client calls saying that my car is here and I still can't help my family in the medical emergency.
mm,
And that's when I said, I have trained so many Garib girls how to drive, I can train you also. Simple as that.
mm.
That's when this training model came into play.
Okay.
Uh, and the women that we have trained, the feedback that we give,
Mm,
it is never about driving. It's always about how my life has changed because I'm independent now.
mm,
I
mm,
can, first of all, I get a lot of respect from my family that I'm there for the emergencies and I'm not shying away from my responsibility. My
mm,
children look up to me with a lot of respect that my mama is just going to go out and make things happen and keep everybody safe.
right.
And that itself is, it's never about driving. It's never about the car. It's always about breaking free of whatever inhibitions that you
Mm,
had.
mm,
We went
mm,
one level more. We said, how do I get more women to join into this? One Vandana Suri can't do anything. This needs a
mm,
lot of women around.
mm,
So, with a lot of corporate women who lost their jobs during the pandemic.
mm,
Now, when a woman loses a job and then after a break she comes back into the job, she's gone down 80% in her salary bracket. This is the
Mm.
reality of it. And
Mm.
she's reached that caliber where now she can't be taking something so piddly and low right now in her career. So
Mm.
we invited them, why don't you partner with us? As long as you know how to drive, make this an entrepreneurial venture and start your own small business. It's all right.
Oh,
It's done with a lot of pride. So we
Mm.
had women from the corporate segment who had lost their jobs who started becoming franchise partners,
Okay.
driving instructors, and they started the next line of scale, if I would call it.
Mm.
Then we went even further. There were women who said, you know what, I love your cause and I want to be somewhere involved, but I'm doing this and I'm doing that. But somewhere, I want to be connected to your cause. How
Mm.
can I join you? I said, yes,
Mm.
you can. Just
Oh.
connect the dots. Join the dots for me. Go
Mm.
out, understand which woman in your circle lost their job, needs a job desperately. She knows how to drive, put her onto me, I'll give her a career. As simple as that. So
Mm.
we started weaving the fabric of women coming together for our
Mm.
own safety.
Got it.
I can't do this. I can't do this on an app. This needs people. This needs that ethos to go out as to
Mm.
what's the final impact that you're doing. And touch
Yeah.
wood, I've never been so more confident than I am now after all these
Mm.
years. Just shaped up so beautifully.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. It's just not Vandana Suri. You have given multiple levels of
Yeah,
people exploration. Yeah.
I can't do this alone. I
Yeah.
can't. No
Yeah.
matter how wild spirited I am, and no matter I'm one person. I need an army here to change the whole country. So I
Yeah.
need all women joining in.
Yeah. So about limitations from family in the beginning, and now we are talking about the career for women, right? And women have to make that balancing act for career and family responsibilities.
Yes.
And women wear multiple hats each day. So what are your strengths and your strategy to motivate and engage women at workplace?
I think women are the best multitaskers you could ever find. We are wired for multitasking. Okay. Just think about this. All our life while we are growing up, we are reared up to go into a new family and manage things over there. So we are like the training starts very early in our life. हम तो किसी और की है अपने तो
Mhm.
पेरेंट्स की नहीं है हम तो किसी और की है. So it's hit on our head. Now when we get married, you just imagine you go from your house to another house and suddenly you have 400 people to please, right? And how well you do it. We all do it, no? Something
Yeah,
we do. We
yeah,
are good in management skills, huh?
yeah.
This is HR and management skills needed for business and work. Okay. Then we get a budget to run the house. Now,
Nice.
no matter which house we lived in when we grew up,
Mhm.
suddenly you are managing finances in a new home.
True.
And so beautifully we do it, man. How? Where does it come from?
Very true.
We are wired for this.
Mhm.
Honestly, you give a man one thing to do and that's enough. But
Yeah.
for women, we are all the time multitasking. We are raising children, we are doing our work, we are doing our home thing, we are managing parents, we are managing in-laws, husband, egos,
Mm.
uh, whatever. But we're doing such a fantastic job. So
True.
we are the best people at work, guys.
Mm.
So much multitasking. इतना पैसा में तुमको इतना सारा कहाँ से मिलेगा? तुम बताओ कहाँ से मिलेगा? It is the best resource
Seriously,
to have.
I have.
It is the best resource to have. That
Yeah,
multitasker, multi hat. She's your secretary, she's your finance person, she's your sales person, she's everything in one,
everything.
boss.
Yeah, bundled
देखा
as
है?
one. Yeah.
I don't think there's a better quality you would expect from an employee. There's no better quality than this for your own business as well. You have it all.
True, true. Yeah, sure. So that was an interesting analogy, Vandana. Moving on to the second innings, marriage, and that's definitely a bigger responsibility. So in this journey, your entrepreneurship, anywhere, anytime, Vandana, your biggest failure or a mistake, and what did you learn from it?
Oh, lots of mistakes. Lots of mistakes. I've launched multiple uh, things during the pandemic which didn't work. But you know what? Until you don't make mistakes now,
Hmm.
you'll not get the best solutions either. It's like
Hmm.
it's like cooking, right? I mean, everybody we all associate with cooking.
Hmm.
Now, first time you go and make dal, it will come out watery and God knows how.
Hmm.
And then you need to keep doing that again and again and again, understanding the right quantity of whatever goes in, and start perfecting that. But
True.
you're going to make your mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. We're all
Yeah.
humans. We are entitled to make mistakes. Let's say that we are. Everybody does. Nobody. I think women need to get this perfect thing out of their head. There is no such thing as perfection in life.
Yeah.
You can't
And
get
we
the
are
perfect
human,
husband.
so it's okay to
Uh-huh.
make mistake.
Have you seen a perfect husband anywhere? No, right? Nobody is perfect. Your parents are not perfect. You are not perfect. So stop putting yourself up into that grind all the time. Don't do this.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's human and everybody's entitled to make mistakes. And I have no regrets. I think I've only learned and learned and learned. My
Mm-hmm.
people call me a tigress. I think my stride after getting battered during the pandemic, I'm
Mm-hmm.
even more stronger now. I may be 6 years back in my career, but
Mm-hmm.
honestly, with my learnings in life, with understanding what goes right, what goes wrong, what is needed, I am 10 times more aggressive now than I was in the pandemic or before the pandemic. Life
Mm-hmm.
teaches you. Life teaches you. Take the learnings and move.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, that's the spirit, Vandana. So, Vandana, definitely women in entrepreneurship, right? And currently, you are the only organization in the globe which has only women coaches
Yes.
exclusively for women clients, right?
Yes.
And this needs every woman on the wheels to be strong, just not only in driving, but inside out too. So
Yes.
what would be your lookout for women, who want to partner with you and, franchise?
Just
What's your insight?
reach out to me. That's all. Send me
Hmm.
an email. You have a will, we'll find a way. As simple as that. I
Hmm.
must tell you that mobility industry needs women. Okay.
Hmm.
Everybody in the mobility, when you talk mobility industry, why? There are contests, government contests which come up. Okay. And
Hmm.
I was very excited to apply for a contest with respect to mobility. I said, wow, I'm in this. There was not even a word of safety in the application form. So
Oh,
everybody's
okay.
talking electric vehicles, everybody's talking kilometers, everybody's talking technology, everybody's talking app. Who's
Hmm.
talking safety?
Hmm. Hmm.
And that is why it is important to have women in the mobility industry because we need safety and nobody's going to
True.
give us that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Technology will not solve your safety issue.
Hmm.
Tomorrow, if somebody rapes you in a car,
Hmm.
what will technology do? It will come and give you data to the police in the hindsight
Hmm.
of how and when you and where you got raped. But will it stop your rape?
Yeah.
So the most practical solution to stop rapes while on travel or stop any kind of abuse while on travel is
Hmm.
actually women driving women and kids.
Hmm.
And this is not something technology can give us. This needs
Hmm.
you. This needs women to come and participate. Today,
Hmm.
companies are talking of women participating, gender equality, and all that.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
me tell you that in this entire 133 crore population that we have, and 50% of us being women,
Hmm.
there are just between 4 to 5 cab companies in the country. There are hardly 250 women who are professionally driving on the road.
Oh,
So now you tell me what a big industry exists for you out there.
true.
Stop thinking of making extra cupcakes and all now. Think of
Hmm.
something big. Think of the space, the untapped potential in this mobility industry. It's an open ground.
Yeah.
There's a competition. What are you going to do? No. no price cutting, no nothing. Customers, I have a client waiting list of 4,500.
That's a big
Every
number.
family, every family wants safety, no? So here you have business, you have opportunity. Wake up and see that. Just write to me, vandana.suri@taxshe.com. Just write to me. Trust me, I'll find a solution. You have money, you don't have money, you have the passion. Passion is enough to fire anything.
That's an interesting one, Vandana. Vandana, you had some initiative on womb also, right?
Yes.
You want to talk a little about that?
Yeah, so we launched something called Women in Mobility Business. We call it the Boom. It just fits in so well, no, with us women being mommy. Everything that I do is around motherhood. Okay, so this word also just fit in so nicely.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we wanted more women participation, right? And I said corporate women were looking for being associated with the cause, also earning a little additional income. So we decided, let me reach out to these women to start connecting the dots. Find me women who can become franchise partners in different cities and help these franchise partners develop their business. Okay. So, you're like a business development partner for me. It's going to develop local franchise partners across the country. And for managing these franchise partners, we will pay a revenue to you.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't want to work on charity. I don't want, when you get into something on a just for the cause kind of thing, it drains out in some time. But then there is an income level attached to it, a little more than what you're earning. You're already in your corporate job, but yes, a little more. It's always good, right? But you are in turn opening the doors to more women coming into the mobility business. And that is what is my womb partner. He's the one who's nurturing this franchise and helping her develop. I'm technically very anti-apps. I think apps don't have that human connect at all. It has bots and we have somebody chatting. But we women connect very different. We women have that leadership, have that possibility of influence. Other women listen to us. Our networking is extremely smart. It's a very strong part of us. So this is where my womb network comes into play. It's literally like threads of fabric all across the country who become my amplifiers, who become the Vandana Suri in their local areas. How many places can I go?
Very inspiring one, Vandana.
And it's a way to work. I mean, it's possible. We're doing it out here.
True. Inspiring. And a big applause for that. A great initiative. You are enabling women to grow and giving opportunity to start on their own. Including, incentives are part of this, and it's just not, charity work. And that's a strong message which you are giving. All my lovely listeners, Womb is an initiative which you should get associated with, Vandana. Interesting one. So, Vandana, is there anything else you would like to add that will be of value to my listeners on this Women's Day?
All I'm just telling you, this is a non-competitive space for you. Stop looking at everywhere where there's khicham khachi. Everybody wants to discount, slash down your prices, no market. Why are you in a congested place? This is an open space with no women in this. Go grab it. As simple as that. Opportunity lies where there is hardly any players. 10 years later, we will see what to think of next. Get into it and grab this mobility industry. It's all up for grabs. That's all I want to tell women. Just think of something different.
Yeah. Sure. So, ladies and gentlemen, all the links and resources which we have discussed in this episode will be made available in my show notes page and also on my website, prajvitaknowledge.com. That is PRAJVITA knowledge.com. And thank you so much, Vandana, for being on this show. I really enjoyed all the nuggets and tips, especially for women on wheels and much more to be an entrepreneur and, being more individualistic, being a hero and driving towards new destination, right? And what I learned in our conversation is breaking that stereotype is very, very important. And the main essence was that women are so much in demand for this kind of mobility business and driving that change. So the inclusion of this half of the world's population is definitely important. And this Women's Day is also calling out gender equal world. So friends, just get associated, just partner, just contribute to this kind of initiatives to support women, to be a better tomorrow. So, Vandana, definitely my listeners have loads of insights, starting from how to knock off the limitations from family and life is calling, and focus on, safety part, and lead by example and be a hero yourself, and believing in ourselves is something which you talk about, and knock off gratification. That's my key takeaway from this discussion. And the kind of a support system which you have nailed down during, for women to be on the wheels, could be a first aid, legal aspect, safety part, or self-defense, is all wonderful message for women to make that strong move to step out and be on wheels. So you have simplified that, this being on wheels is easy and enjoyable and safer too. Thanks, Vandana, for this.
Thank you so much for having me here. You see how you are an amplifier of my agenda today. You see, this is how women just get connected and move on. This is the power of all of us put together. Thank you so much for having me here and spreading this word out for me. Really, really appreciate it.
So, Vandana, pleasure mine. And thank you once again for taking time out. And it's been great having you on my show. So, friends, I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Vandana. If you have got any learning or motivated hearing to her, then please do tag Vandana and myself to share this podcast with your friends and post it on social handles about this amazing information you have learned, as this will help many others to engage, enlighten, and empower. By the way, friends, I'm always grateful to all my listeners who tunes in and leaves a review. If you have not done that yet, that would mean a world to me. So please head over to iTunes or YouTube or any app you would like to write. Do help our podcast to grow. I really appreciate your support. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Bye for now. Take good care of yourself. Be safe and do something engaging, enlightening, and empowering. And once again, I wish you all a very happy International Women's Day 2022. Thank you so much.